It's a beautiful sunny day, except it's Canada, so it's literally minus 30 today, so it's freezing. Welcome back, guys. This week we're doing something I have not done in a very long time. Design and build a marketing site. I haven't done that since my days in my agency days. So we'll see if I still can even do it. And I also have to finish a bunch of user management things to launch this MVP for my SaaS product in the next 6 weeks. So yeah, a lot of work to do. So if you're new here, this is my series where I'm just documenting the ups and downs of building a SaaS product. And it's week 3 of my Project 70 challenge, which is just a challenge to work 70 hours a week for pretty much all of January. And so far it's going pretty decent. I'm happy for it to be over, but yeah, it's a good challenge to do if you guys want to push yourself out of your comfort zone. It's good to kind of set, I hate tracking time, but it's good to set a time to try to hit. So you're actually forcing yourself to do work for X amount of time. To have some metric to go off of. So the project I'm working on now is a feedback platform, but based kind of more on community building and user engagement, because a lot of the feedback platforms that are actually good, I find, are either super expensive, which is just unreal for solo developers or smaller teams, and they're just kind of boring, where they just focus on like a feature request or a bug, and like users don't really have any incentive to use it really. So I wanted to kind of combine community aspects with feature requests as well. So you can kind of think of it as like a forum based thing where you can have feature requests and you can have your roadmap and upvote stuff still just like a normal feature feedback platform, but then you can also like let all your users know about announcements. You can handle support requests and kind of just kind of actually foster a community on top of it. So the feedback is kind of just a bonus on top of it. The main thing is going to be community building. And I also want to do, if you're a user, I want to build out a profile page. So let's say you're someone who leaves constant feedback or you're contributing to all these different projects. I want to be able to see on your profile what projects you've actually contributed to that actually got completed. So let's say you create a task or a feature request and then it gets completed, then it will show up in your profile and you can have a history of every single project that you've contributed something to. And just feels like you're more a part of the process of actually building something rather than just throwing out some random cards that just get moved around through the pipe. Like, I don't know, just some kind of history. So last week I was pretty much getting this all set up and then finishing out all these actions. And now next on the list is inviting users. So you can invite someone by the email, give them a role. They see the email, they can just join your team right there. And yeah, so I'm hoping to get that done this week. And then like I said at the beginning of this video, I also have to get the marketing site complete because I have not started that yet. And it will be good to have that out so I can just have it, because it's been a little bit and I haven't had one yet. So I think it's time to make one. And yeah, it's been a while since I've designed something. So we will see if I can still design anything. So yeah, we got a busy next couple of days. Again, every single day is going to be a 10-hour day. So lots of time to fit things in, but I am balancing this with a day job as well. So it's not going to be strictly all of this project. But yeah, anyways, let's get to work. All right, what's going on, guys? It is the next day, Wednesday. Currently, yesterday was close to 11 hours, almost 5 today, but halfway through the workday. I was kind of brainstorming landing page designs, and this is kind of where I kind of stumbled upon. I was experimenting with a few things, different fonts, and I think I like this as a starting point, and then I'm gonna have some sort of like picture of the app there, and then just into the section. I still need to finish, that's literally all I did, but still need to finish that other section. But I think for something like this, it takes a lot of work, because it's not just, it has to look nice. Like that's obviously a really key aspect, because you want to leave, like every time someone comes to your website, you want it to leave like an impression on them. Like it should be a whole experience, but at the same time, it should be showing like why someone would want to use it. Like I think a lot of products, like all the websites will talk about like how everything works and like all the features and stuff, which is obviously great to have on a website. But I think taking the angle of, for one, outlining, like making the problems clear, right? Coming at an angle of these are the problems that your ideal customer is facing, and how exactly that solves those problems, which is kind of relates back to the why you should be using it. So it does take a lot of planning to just get that structure right and kind of find out exactly what you want to list on it. And then a step up, making sure the copy and wording is good as well, that actually is speaking properly to the audience. ChatGPT can help with the copywriting as well, but sometimes it's too, if you're going for a more bold marketing approach, I find that like ChatGPT is too professional and it's almost too, like, it doesn't feel human. And I like making my copy around just more natural speaking, as if I'm actually talking, but at the same time kind of hit the right pain points that you need to solve. So I plan on doing a little bit more of this today or tonight. And then I want to finish up that user invites, because that's something that's on the list and I want to get it done. But it's crazy, it's already Wednesday and like I still kind of have a lot of tasks to do. So I'm really gonna have to buckle in, but 10 hours honestly isn't a lot of time. When you fill it up a lot with a day job, you really don't have a lot of time on the day-to-day to make a lot of progress. So, but it's also crazy kind of how much harder it is to even just to design and think about a simple landing page like that. It's like when you haven't done it in a while, it's once like you lose it. If you don't practice it, you lose it, right? So like even just the design aspect, I found my creativity was almost lacking a bit. And then even just like outlining exactly how you should position things and what kind of information you want to include. Like it's a whole process, right? So that's why I think it bothers me when people think they can get a website for like $100 when there's so much that goes into it behind the scenes, that even though it just looks like it was simple to make, there's a lot of planning that goes on behind it to make it an actually effective website. And that's the thing, that there's still so much to learn. So like I'm kind of talking as if I already have it figured out. I don't. There's always stuff to do better. And I think this is just something I'm learning along the way. So even if this marketing site doesn't turn out great, or whatever market site you're working on, if it's not great the first time, I wouldn't stress about that too much. I would just try to focus on getting something out there that's decent. You can always iterate and improve on it, because I think a majority of the time should be spent, at least initially for the MVP stage, should be spent building the MVP rather than focusing so much on making a killer landing page, which that could come at a later time when you kind of have more time to invest into that. And you don't really have to, like, you're not on a time crunch anymore because your MVP is kind of done, right? And then now your goal is to get customers when it's actually out. So as long as it's a good landing page to convert to like a waitlist or something, that's really all you need. It doesn't have to be like crazy. A great example of what a landing page could be when you're still in the building stage, which honestly, thinking back, I might make mine a little bit more simpler, like maybe one page or something, maybe not go all out. But at the same time, I kind of like the process of it. But regardless, this is a good example of a good landing page. It's literally just one page. It's just for the waitlist. That's literally it. Just a page for the waitlist. And it has a demo on the side. So like obviously this probably it depends on what your project is, but if it's something you can summarize, keep it super simple just for a waitlist collection, like this just has a demo of, walking you through. And it's just it's a fake scenario just to show you how it will work. Just to get the point across, you can see like 30 seconds, you get an idea, and there's one call to action, join the waitlist. Like that's honestly, when you're building MVP, that's all you should really focus on, is just capturing those leads. Then eventually you can build out like a more in-depth landing page. Like Linear is a really great example of this. And just, you have the features and you can really break it down and really try to convert it this way. But yeah, for waitlist pages, I wouldn't go spend too much time on it. Just something that's kind of enough, right? All right, I was doing some thinking and just kind of similar things of, impatience. I think impatience is a really common thing when you're building something on your own, or if you're in a situation where you kind of want fast results. And it's so easier now than ever to be distracted on like chasing different business models and losing focus and chasing, like if you're on one thing and then trying to switch to the other thing because it seems like it's going to be so much easier or so much better, when in reality that's just a huge lie. And I think why most people like either fail or give up or whatever, I don't even like saying fail because you should want to fail, but what stops most people from succeeding in whatever they choose, I think, is just being distracted and losing focus. Because I think, obviously starting a business is hard from like, technical side of things, marketing, sales, like actually selling it, like getting people to actually use it and like executing it properly and then scaling it. Like that's in its own box separately, right? That is tough. But I think what really makes that difficult is how every single day is just like a battle with your own mindset, especially if you're doing it by yourself. because every single day you have to wake up and understand that even if you're not seeing results now, you just have to keep going anyways. Like, it could take years before you even see results, and you have to be okay with that. Like, the fact that this could take years and years and years of doing the same thing, getting like smacked down, and you have to just keep getting up again, but you have to be okay with that. Like, that's the reality of it, right? Like, no matter what you do, you're gonna have to be willing to put in years of work, of repetition, and for like, while you're not seeing any results, and you're gonna have to just keep persevering. I think what holds people back from succeeding is that's what makes them quit, right? Especially if you are impatient. Like, most people are impatient, honestly, and I think it's a hard thing to be okay with doing this for years without seeing any results. Obviously, I'm not saying it's going to take years, but I think you have to have the expectation that this is going to take a lot longer than you think it will, and just be totally okay with that. I think the moment you start losing focus and trying to say you give, like, I don't know, 8 months, a year into one business model, and then you try to switch because your brain's telling you, oh, this is going to be better, this is going to be faster, then you're on square one again and this other thing, and then next thing you know, you're pretty much a beginner across like 8 different business models just because you didn't stick to just one of them. And if you stuck to just one of them and didn't even try the other ones and just got really good, like years and years and years sticking to one thing, there's no way you will not succeed if you genuinely just stick to it. And that's why it's so hard to succeed, honestly, because I think most people just let their thoughts win with self-doubt, whatever, because after getting hit down, like just having to keep on getting up and doing it again, and years going by, seeing no results, like you just have to keep going. And that's what makes it, honestly, that's the reason I think that the success rate, whatever you want to call it, is so low. Apparently, whoever keeps track of those numbers. But yeah, that's why I think that's the hardest part about it. Like, yes, like I said, in this, building it on your own and like that, it's hard for its own reasons specific to the business. But what really makes it hard to succeed, I think, is 100% the mindset, and just being able to focus on one thing and not getting distracted, and being okay with it taking a lot longer than you want, and just being able to keep going, right? Like, you can't fail if you just never give up, right? And eventually it's going to work out. Like, imagine over an 8-year horizon, and I know even to me, 8 years, I don't want to think about 8 years because that's like a really long time. I want it to be sooner than that. But if you think about 8-year horizon, sticking to one thing, even 4 years, doesn't even matter about 8 years, even just 4 years of sticking to one single thing, like, imagine what you could do, or where you will be from now in 4 years if you just stick to one thing, cut out all the distractions of all these different business models, all these gurus trying to sell you stuff. Like, 4 years is such a long time to be dedicated and consistent with one thing. And if you genuinely stick to it, and you are consistent, and you're honest about being consistent with something for 4 years, like, there's absolutely no way you will not achieve what you want to achieve, or even be just one step closer to it. Like, there's just no way. So I don't know. It's just something to think about if you have been feeling a little bit more distracted recently, that it's a part of the process. Distractions are normal, like the whole shiny object syndrome, like that thing, it exists. It's normal to want to be pulled in all these different directions, but you just have to pick one thing and just hone in on that and focus on that, and just don't give up on it, and just keep going. And this is partly a message to myself to look back on, because whenever I'm experiencing that kind of like self-doubt and like wanting to give up, it's hard to realize it in the moment, but it always just comes down to just sticking with it and just keep on seeing it through. That's all you have to do. And just keep doing the same things and improve and iterate, and yeah, and it will pay off. All right, so I'm going to finish up the workday, and then I got to run later, 4-mile run later, and then hopefully, like I said, get back to work on this marketing site. But then also I really want to wrap up the invites tonight as well. So maybe I will just try to bang out those invites as fast as I can. At least have that, check that off, get that working. And then I can circle back to the marketing site and see how much progress I can make on those as well. All right, a little bit of an update. I was working on the invites, like where you can invite members to your team, set the role, they'll join as like an admin or owner. But there was so much to do with that honestly, I think I'm gonna just do it this weekend because I want to have kind of something more to update on tonight, and that I won't be done that tonight for sure. Basically, my original plan was to have, because with Suabase you can just send invites with their email, and it'll just, then you can like, you get the response, then you can just add that user to the team. But there's a couple things. The first thing is I was thinking, well, I probably want users to be able to accept or decline invites, or else you can just get added to a bunch of teams that you have no idea if they just know your email. So I was like, okay, well, I have to figure that out. And then I got the invites working without that table, but then I was like, okay, well, it doesn't work if the account already exists. So if you already have an account on, so let's say another project, and someone invites you to another one, it errors. So then I have to check beforehand, which wouldn't be a big thing. I just have to check if it exists first and then whatever. But I guess I have to use an invites table to handle the invites. But then the next thing, like, I was working on the marketing page or the marketing site, and I really wanted to focus on using a certain type of flow for it. It's pretty important, I think, to get the right flow of what you're showing in a landing page or in a marketing site. And like I said before, with an MVP, like if you're just trying to get waitlist signups, I don't think you don't really need to go all out on it right away, because your time just needs to be spent on building the product. But the kind of flow that I'm trying to follow with this one is you have the landing page, then it goes into a section of like what problems to solve. And I kind of wrap in like why, like why, like what's the purpose of that, like why, and then go into more of like the how, and the how is more feature related. But I think it's really important to really focus on this aspect and put it into perspective that, like, honestly, who cares about this? Like, yeah, this is cool. Features are cool, but like, I think really nailing in on what problems you're actually solving. Like, why does it matter? You know, that's pretty much what you're trying to solve initially. So like landing page, you know, start curiosity, then problems to resonate, maybe build some emotion in there, and then how it actually works, like how it actually solves those problems. And then you can go into like pricing, testimonials, like contact, whatever. But that's kind of the framework that I was following. And again, I'm still somewhat new to this stuff, so there's probably a million ways to do it. Maybe there's a better way to do it than that. But I was playing around for a while, and I kind of got it down to a certain style. Just zoom in a little bit there. But you can't really tell with the camera, but these are just two different shades of gray, or it's white and gray. You really can't tell. Wow, that's crazy. So I haven't really figured out the graphics yet, but I think landing page here, kind of an interesting header. Then this is probably just going to be a display of whatever the app is, kind of a bold statement, community-driven products of the future, which I'm going to be talking about here, like why like users want to be a part of the process. Like if you're using a product, the worst thing you can do, and it happened in the video game industry, and it happens on in some products too, they don't listen to their core user base, and they either ruin the game or the product because they're not listening to their users. So that's kind of why I made that bold claim, but it also just sparks curiosity. And then 3 info boxes, which I still have to kind of do, just kind of like that layout. And conversations are important, just kind of wrapping around the feedback thing, and even talking about certain, like getting discussions around your app. And then these are more like the feature related stuff. And I might still move stuff around. I'm still playing around with it because some of the order I might want to switch around. Then this is kind of one where I just wanted to show like what you could, like instead of handling all the discussions, feedback, support, whatever in email, like get it all in one spot. And then this was kind of just another layout I was playing around with, but that's what I have so far. It's honestly been a little bit more, it's been more fun to switch to more design related stuff and just trying to get a good flow going, and like even looking at other sites, like other good landing page sites, and just asking yourself why they laid it out a certain way and why they did certain things. It really helps you understand what you should be doing for your sites. And yeah, so I feel like I'm learning a lot, which is great. But the goal for today is to try to wrap up the design of the marketing site. It kind of sucks because I have to get the video edited as well tonight, so I don't know how much time I'll have. But yeah, like I said, the invites will be done this weekend, and hopefully I can, I still have a big list for this weekend. Design the marketing site. Develop marketing site was there too, but I think with the inviting and I have some other things to do still, it's going to be a little bit steep to develop the site out as well. So we will see if I can get to it, but if anything, that'll be next week. And then in next week's video, I'll be developing the actual site, because that's the goal. I want to be done the design at least for next week, and then develop it next week. It's just almost 9 a.m. so I'm gonna start working the day job soon, and then yeah, I will let you guys know when there's another update. All right, I just finished the workday. Honestly, I gotta spend the rest of the night editing the video, getting the thumbnails ready, so don't know how much more progress I'll make on the landing page, but that's gonna be a task for tomorrow and over the weekend. So I'm gonna end the video here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.